for a young guy, man. You've been all over the world, all over the country. Hypothetically, what city would you like to live in and play football?
Yeah, I mean, I was, just there a few years ago playing high school football, so in the Ford Center, up there in Frisco, Texas. So, to be back in Dallas, practicing in that facility, playing in that facility again, I think that would be amazing.
How you projected? I mean, I don't even know if this is legit. In my head, he projected
The mock
top 10.
draft.
If you could script it exactly how you wanted to.
If I could script it, my family's all in Texas.
Okay.
Family being there, all the connections, all the relationships, I feel like that would just be the perfect city to play in.
Jerry Jones, make the call.
Hey, you know what to do,
Jerry
man.
Jones.
The offseason is officially underway for the Dallas Cowboys, and to be quite honest, they have a lot to think about. Not only do they have a bunch of potential free agents hitting the market in terms of Brandin Cooks, Rico Dowdle, DeMarcus Lawrence, Eric Kendricks, Jordan Lewis, and the list continues to go on from there, but they also have a big-time NFL draft coming up where just an offseason ago, there was rumors that Derrick Henry wanted to go play for the Dallas Cowboys, and there was zero interest at all from Jerry Jones in this Dallas Cowboys team, and Derrick Henry went on to having and leading the Ravens to the #1 rushing offense in the NFL for another season. But with that being said, there has been a ton of breaking news surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. And at the beginning of the video, I showed you a couple of clips of Ashton, Jeanty, one of the premier running backs in this year's NFL draft, saying that, hey, if he could write the script, he would be playing in Ford Center with the Dallas Cowboys for his career, right? Now, obviously, there are a ton of glaring needs on this team. Is running back the biggest position of need? Well, let's just take a look at a couple of guys they're potentially going to lose. Brandin Cooks, Zach Martin, DeMarcus Lawrence, right? Trey Lance doesn't really matter. You can bring back your punter. Eric Kendricks is getting up there in age. He's about to be 33 years old. Potentially losing Jordan Lewis, right? I mean, there is guys up and down this list that could be pretty big losses. I mean, Osa is a guy that adds a ton of interior pass rush and run stuffing ability from the D tackle position. You might need to go get him back, right? You got Rico Dowdle, but he's a free agent. You're going to need a running back going forward. So obviously, the needs on this team are at an all-time high. However, when we look at where they ranked for the majority of the season, it was not good at all. Obviously ranking 21st in terms of points per game, but 31st in terms of points allowed per game. This defense needs to be better next season, but when you look at this running game, man, this is terrible. And don't get me wrong, right? If you're missing Dak Prescott, it really kind of kills your versatility. It kills the dynamic of your offense, but at the same time, averaging 4 yards per carry in today's era is not good, right? Ranking 30th overall, averaging 100 rush yards per game, which is about 27th in the NFL, and then 32nd in rushing touchdowns per game. I mean, man, everything when you look at this running game is absolutely terrible. Now, does Ashton Jeanty completely fix that? Well, in my opinion, I would say he helps it a ton, right? And when you take a look at a play like this, Ashton Jeanty is a guy who can force missed tackles all day, every day. This is one of the best prospects I've seen at running back in a little bit, right? Look at this play here as we're going to get just an outside zone. We're going to, boom, make a man miss there. Go through 2 broken tackles, right? Boom, bounce off that arm tackle, go through that guy, and then, you're right, it takes 6-7 guys to tackle Ashton Jeanty. And if you add him with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and potentially have some other guys, Jalen Tolbert on the outside, maybe you add someone to, throw into the slot, maybe you re-sign Brandin Cooks, right? There are some guys you can go out there and get, but Ashton Jeanty definitely helps out this Dallas Cowboys offense, and he already wants to go there. Now, real quickly, before we deep dive any further into the video, I want to hear your opinion. Do you think that this Dallas Cowboys team needs a running back? Do you think that is their biggest priority to take him at number 12? Is that the smartest thing that they can do right now? Now, for me, I'm not too sure. I think there are a lot of holes in this team. Left tackle, right? Obviously, guard is now something that you're probably going to need to replace. Brandin Cooks, you might need to replace Brandin Cooks, right? There's a lot of question marks on this team, but running back is another one of those question marks. Now, as football fans, we all know that if you do not have a good running game in the NFL, your pass attack is going to get absolutely worse, right? We know that. As football fans, you need to have a running game, right? So at the end of the day, I want to know what you guys think. Is it worth taking a guy like Ashton Jeanty in the first round to improve this offensive dynamic and allow guys like CeeDee Lamb, guys like Jalen Tolbert or Jalen Brooks or Jonathan Mingo, Kamante Turpin to kind of, thrive in that secondary, maybe have guys or teams stack the box a little bit more against Ashton Jeanty? Let me know in the comments down below, but more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is free, it doesn't cost anything, and we will be covering the Dallas Cowboys throughout the entirety of this year's offseason, which means everyone that they sign in free agency, we're going to be breaking down some film. Whoever they draft in this year's NFL draft, we're going to be breaking down film on those players, showing you exactly what they're getting, who the player is, and what they're adding to the team. And then whoever they trade for, we got you guys covered with that as well. Now, I get it if some of you guys aren't fully invested in spending your first round pick on a running back. It makes sense to me to potentially draft a guy that can change the running back position for you, but I wouldn't mind going in some other directions, right? You have Aaron Jones here if you wanted a 1 year back, right? You could go for him. Najee Harris is very, very interesting. There were some rumblings last offseason that they could potentially trade for Najee Harris. That is definitely a possibility. A.J. Dillon has not been great through his NFL career thus far, but he's a big back and break some tackles and be a downhill runner for you. Nick Chubb is available as well, right? These are just kind of 1 year replacements. I think if you wanted to go with a young gun, I think you go Ashton Jeanty. If you wanted someone relatively young, maybe J.K. Dobbins fits what you want to do, or Najee Harris as well. So yeah, there are some options on free agency. Maybe you bring back Rico Dowdle. I don't know, right? There are some options, but what do you think would be the best option to really give them a productive chance at this year's offseason? Now, with that being said, I am going to end the video here, but I want to know what you guys think, man. As Dallas Cowboys fans, what do you think this Cowboys team needs to do? Do they draft the running back in the first round? Do they go for maybe a wide receiver? Do they go offensive line, which is going to, it looks like it's going to be a big need right now. You got Tyler Smith, who looked pretty good. You got Cooper, right? You got Brock Hoffman. You got Terrence Steele. You got TJ Bass. You got Seam Richards. I mean, there is some interesting guys. Tyler Guyton, I don't know, I forgot him. There's some interesting guys here, interesting pieces, but things need to be fixed. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next update. Peace.